now that the game 1 starts, I do want to mention that I am the first of the casters who has successfully completed the bingo.
Yay! Woo! Any askers? Did anyone ask? All right, so I was going to mention Maximilian here is playing Fiendsmith Snake Eyes, but it's a very different type of lineup in the main deck, actually. We've got the Snake Eye Fiendsmiths, of course, but I don't think I see a single hand trap. If we take a look at his deck list here, there is, yeah, it's like a go second Snake Eye deck. What do you think about that? Like maxing out on mind controls, change of heart, droplet?
I mean, this is remarkable. Maxi has been very creative with his deck choices. Actually, what am I saying? He was playing pure Snake Eye and then Kashtira Snake Eye as well at those opens and of those regionals, and those weren't the most creative decks, so I'm excited to see him cooking here.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think basically everyone has unanimously agreed that the best and correct way to play the current format is to just throw as many hand traps as possible at people, but they're not 10-pipe players and they're both going second, so that's actually really interesting. Max going first here with the Snake Eye combo. Still really powerful and still super, super strong, irrespective of the fact that, well, we could potentially have a lot of dead cards in our hand, like the things like the mind control. Droplet is still good going first, although you do have to sacrifice a card for it. Although Snake Eyes not very famous for lacking in card advantage, so that should be not an issue. We also see that he's got, it's funny, he's opened both of them actually, Droplet and Talents in the hand, and we know that Talents is not going to be live for this one.
I mean, the deck is still as good going first as usual Snake Eye deck. However, the problem is it's far more risky. If you're actually getting stopped there and you can't go for your full combo, then there is a chance that you're going to get run over by your opponent, because they're just not going to face any backup hand traps there. Those mind controls and those droplets, droplet actually not so much, but those mind controls won't really help you with anything.
Talking a little bit about what Dinh-Kha B is playing here, you might be blinking very furiously right now as you see if that is the correct deck on screen. He is indeed playing Magical Musketeer, a go second Magical Musketeer deck. Well, listen, if everyone is going to be throwing a bunch of hand traps and trying their hardest to win the dice roll, just one-up them and play a go second deck. Magical Musket is a deck, for those of you who are unfamiliar, it's one of like the sort of semi-original zone-reliant decks per se. Anytime you activate a spell and trap card under a Magical Musket monster, it then gets some type of effect. We've got Casper, for example, which searches, I think Starfire Reborns or special summons. And yeah, the idea here is they have a really super powerful monster called Max. Max is a Link 1, one of the first Link ones, actually. And what it does is it adds cards from your deck to your hand equal to the number of spell and traps or monsters. So you can choose. If your opponent has, like, for example, 5 monsters, you just add 5 musket spell and traps from your deck to your hand. If they have 5 back row, you special summon 5 muskets from the deck. It's an absolutely unbelievably strong card. Will it resolve? I mean, that's kind of the issue in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Like, can you actually resolve that card? But there's a really interesting spell card he plays to help him go into a Link 1. Do you know what it is?
Which one? Is it the Fiendsmith spell?
No, it's actually a little bit more spicier than that. It is a Link into the Reigns. It is a quick play spell card that allows you to immediately perform a Link summon. Oh, it's not a quick play. It's normal. Well, it's a spell card that allows you to perform a Link summon. And basically just lets you immediately go into the max as well. If your opponent, I suppose, negates your first max. I'm actually not sure. I generally thought it was a quick play, so I'm stumbling here, to be honest.
It has a grave effect. That,
right. Oh, is it a quick play grave effect?
For Link monsters you control is destroyed by battle or card effect while this card is in your GUI. You can banish this card, add 1 monster from your GUI to your hand with the same original type as one of those monsters.
That's definitely not the relevant part of it, actually. It is the main spell effect. We'll see if it actually comes down in this matchup. You know, there is no real way to search it. But yeah, it's a powerful way to get a Link 1 monster onto the field again. I think it... Oh, I know what it is. It special summons from the hand and then performs a Link summon, right? Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, I'm sure there was a good logical reason for it.
But there's also Fiendsmith Sanct, a card that Dinh-Kha B is running, which also helps you get into a Link 1. By the way, also all of these Magical Musketeers, they are light fiends.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost as if like the Fiendsmith cards were designed for a lot of decks, actually, to help and assist them into doing combos, but very synergistic, specifically in Magical Muskets, one of the few light fiend decks in the game, except, of course, you know, Fabled.
And now you can know that Maxi knows what he's up against, that Maxi knows what he has to do here. He's sending the Black Gold last with the Foolish Burial Goods. He has the Nightmare Phoenix co-linked to the Appaloosa, so it can't be destroyed by battle. And also, I really like the way he played his combo out, because he knew he wasn't going to face a Nibiru, the Primal Being. He just went for a Selene before even having a Spellcaster in the graveyard, basically. Or I think there might have been Snake Eyes Diabellstar, but used the Beatrice to send the Diabellstar Black Witch and then summon that one back to get another spell or trap card.
You can see that Max is somewhat completely unfazed here by the fact that his opponent just normal summoned a Casper in round 7, so that's a thing. Yeah, one of the best normal summons in the deck here. Casper, as mentioned, is a Searcher. Does allow you to retrieve any magical musket from your deck here. And you can also see that Max has 4 monsters, so, you know, potentially going into Max for a search of 4 cards could be pretty strong here. Here it comes, Link Summon. There's no way this is resolving, surely. Normal summon the Max here. And
Max is reading the Max.
Max is reading Max. It's like a famous author.
Let's see, I'm going to get this card up for you guys as well.
Yeah, so first turn combo here set up by Max here. It's pretty much the full combo. We're missing a Desiree, which I think I'm a little bit surprised by. Oh, that's Last Stand!
Wow.
Oh, wow! That's specifically a spell and trap negate. Okay,
it's a counter trap as well.
Yeah, so this is actually really huge here. So Max opted to use Droplet on the Max instead. That sounds weird. He opted to use Droplet on the Max because I think he probably wants to try play around things like talents, but that made him susceptible to the Last Stand. So now the Appaloosa doesn't get any value here, and he is just going to special summon 4 muskets from the deck here.
I think he's only going to special summon 2 because he's already put the Last Stand into the graveyard. That looks like it's only going to be 2.
No, I guess it's up to the number of, so I mean, I guess he just doesn't want to summon anymore. Probably, maybe it doesn't play like a high number count of them. Okay, cool. Well, I mean, these are the best ones here, Starfire and Casper.
Would it say different names, maybe?
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, maybe he's not playing that many different cards.
Yeah, his
With
only
different names, yeah.
Ah,
yeah.
right. So does that mean we drew Doc?
I think he did.
Yeah, he does play 1 Magical Musketeer Doc. It must be in the hand then. All right. Well, just 2 here, and we'll see what this deck can actually do going second. I mean, he is willingly opting to go second, so must be a reason for that.
I mean, this deck has always been kind of a going second deck, because when your opponent is playing some back row cards, you can actually play the cards into the columns of the back row cards and then try to force an activation there to profit off of your opponent's spell or trap cards. But that did not happen here. I actually wonder why it wasn't summoned into the column of Droplet. The first one, but I mean,
it's because it's activation, right? You have to activate it into the column.
Oh,
yeah, not that it resolves in the column. That's why. Yeah, very cool. There's a Requiem being summoned with just 1 monster. Typically, you usually do it with a Fabled Lure, don't you? But here is just a Light Fiend being used, and that is Max here, linked off for the Requiem. And it looks like Appaloosa is negating the quick effect of the Tribute for the Requiem. And
at least attempting, you know? I'm not too sure if it is going to resolve. There's plenty of good magical musketeer cards.
Yeah, I mean, there's like Cross Domination. It's a in-theme quick play spell and trap. There's Droplet we're going to use here into the column of Casper. That's going to net another card after this as well. And I think Dinh-Kha B is just thinking about how many do we discard here.
Yeah. I mean, the question is, what else does he have in hand? How much value can these cards provide at all? I mean, the most important thing is that he, in the end, gets 1 more card that he can activate into the Starfire column.
I'm genuinely curious to see how a typical... Okay, 2 of them.
A talent?
A talent. That's
wow,
going to feel...
Got rid of the talent. And the last card in hand is not the Doc. I think it's another spell.
It's another spell, and I think it might be talent then.
All right. Well, I suppose we just chose not to summon Doc with the Max. Be curious to find out why afterwards. But yeah, Droplet coming down here, sending 2 spells, by the way, not monsters. So we can actually respond with a monster and a trap card here. Change the Black Goat Laughs declaring the name of Casper, I believe, there.
Yeah. You can chain the Flambird here, however, then the IP is just going to get negated.
Chaining Beatrice as well in the process on this same chain. And I wonder what we're going to send here. I don't know if there's any disruption. Okay, yeah, just setting up a wanted draw for the next turn, if there is a next turn. We shall see.
There's one more card in the hand of Dinh-Kha B, and I think what we shall not forget after this, the Requiem is going to resolve.
Yep, of course, that's the main important thing here. That's going to be able to bring out the Fiendsmith Engraver, and we'll figure out just exactly what does Fiendsmith offer for magical muskets.
I'm just so curious about Dinh-Kha B all the time, because actually, you know, when he's at the table, when he's playing his incredible rogue strategies and he's playing against Fiendsmith Snake Eye that has been so incredibly dominant over the entire tournament, it just doesn't feel that threatening anymore, does it?
Well, yeah. A seasoned player and well-versed in the game, and no stranger to pressure or awkward situations.
I think he's been one of the best deck builders of the last years, by far.
Yeah, innovated and, or at least popularized so many strategies. The Runic Furhire one specifically is one that comes to mind and very notable. Even his Labyrinth deck opted to play very unorthodox card choices. And here's Masquerena on the new chain here being summoned off of the Temple or the Flamberge. I'm not too sure which one. The Droplet did resolve for 2, so I assume that definitely hit at least Apollosa. And then on resolution, potentially the Phoenix to stop the battle protection.
I mean,
or
the
maybe just the
Apollosa is
Flamberge.
negated, so I don't think that that is...
It's the most important thing. All right, on the new chain here, we're going to summon out the Little Knight using the Flamberge's materials. We get to special summon back 2 bodies here. You know what would go really hard? Silent Graveyard.
That's true. Poplar is going to be summoned now. I think Snake Eye Ash is also going to join in there. Or Oak to add back the Ash from the graveyard to the hand, because that is also possible. And I think SP Little Knight is also kind of strong there, because you can chain SP to a spell card that is activated in the zone of Starfire and then take Starfire out. And I don't know how that resolves then. Can it actually still activate?
Good question. You can have a read of that. But yeah, SP Little Knight is still a powerful disruption remaining here. When another card is activated, we can remove 2 bodies from the field. I assume we went through Princess at some point. I was kind of fixated on talking about how cool muskets were for that turn 1, but I assume there's also still a Princess disruption here.
And there it is, the last talent. We were surprised that a talent is being discarded, but that just had to mean that there is yet another triple tactic talent, and SP Little Knight indeed is being chained to it.
Definitely a talents for a draw or a steal. Just curious to see which one it will be here. It looks like he is drawing, actually. Yeah, so the Starfire will be banished temporarily, and it does still need to remain on the field in order to resolve, so it will not be special summoning a monster from the deck. Yeah, 2 more cards in hand here. I'm really curious what it is that you can have in this situation.
Oh, Dinh-Kha B, what can you pull out of your sleeve one last time in this duel? Because otherwise it is looking kind of grim here. 2 cards in hand, a Caspar on the field that has already used its effect. And there's a pretty big field on the side of Maximilian. However, these cards don't really do too much anymore. There's also 2 cards in hand left. I think Dinh-Kha B at this point knows that this is a going second power spell variant of the Snake Eyes Fiendsmith deck. And if you find anything to play with, this is the time, but this looks like a set card, and this might be a pass here. Maximilian might have... Oh, Shavara is being activated.
That is a fascinating option. All right.
What?
Destroying the set call by. We're going to special summon Shavara. And, I mean, do we play Yama? We do. We play Yama. We play Soul of Anguish. There is a small Unchained package in the extra deck. There's also Soul of Rage as well. Yeah, there was the Princess Resolution here on Special Summon Shavara. We're going to destroy. And Dinh-Kha B picks up his cards, and that is it for game number 1. Magical Muskets not being able to beat what is a fairly standard Enfield of Snake Eye.
Yep, there wasn't even a backup hand trap or anything else. It was just not possible. He even had the droplet, the additional cards. It looked so good after this. What was the name of the counter trap again? Last Stand?
Last Stand.
Yeah, this was phenomenal. Special summoning out 2 monsters, not getting to summon out 3. But I mean, Snake Eye Fiendsmith, it prevails.
No, I mean, like, we thought that with the last 10, maybe he had a chance to come back into this, especially because, like, Max Hands was okay, I guess. Nothing standard,
yeah.
right? And
which kind of begs the question: if you can't beat a standard Snake Eye Enfield with Magical Musket going second, it's a strange choice.
I think, are you more surprised that it lost a game like this, in which he could have, you know, like, maybe fight back, or that he let it go first? That's the point, right?
He clearly has designed and built his deck to go second, so there has to be reason for it. If you can't beat a standard Snake Eye field going second, then that's going to definitely raise some questions. But, you know, Dinh-Kha B, no stranger to adapting to situations, high-pressure environments, and I'm sure he'll find a way to come back into this one.
Also, to be honest, it wasn't just a standard field. There was also Foolish Burial Goods activated.
Yeah, I suppose the Black Goat Laughs was also a bit of a interesting choice there. But, I mean, there's really no difference in that contextual situation between Black Goat Laughs and something like a Veiler from the hand, right?
Yep.
I suppose. So, you know, I think it's not unexpected to play against Snake Eye with a disruption from hand, right? I wonder if we're going to go and choose to maybe start this one. There's a couple of options he's playing. There's Thrust for D-Barrier, different Dimension Ground, lots of different options for going first in Dinh-Kha B's list here. Blind second build for go first, maybe, something like that. We'll see.
You don't want to rely on the triple tactics thrust against Maxi Hen, because I think he knows what the deck list is looking like and that he's not going to be faced with too many hand traps. I mean, the deck list of Maxi Hen is basically tailored to beat a standard Snake Eyes field, and how much better could a field from Magic Musketeers be?
I really love the side deck of Max. There's some interesting, like, unorthodox techs here. We've got a Galaxy Cyclone. I assume we're trying to send that with Beatrice to maybe out, like,
or goods.
For goods, yeah. Outing Floodgates post-siding, you can send with Beatrice also to, you know, deal with something face up on the following turn. There's also an Archfiend Eccentric, which I'm pretty sure is a light fiend. So you have a searchable part of your engine, in the Fiendsmith engine, is able to search the Archfiend Eccentric to deal with problem monsters or back row.
Oh, I like that a lot. Archfiend Eccentric has been such a cool card. It has mostly also in the last few years used as a small world bridge, as we call it.
Okay.
You know, when you activate Small World, you have to reveal one card, then have a slightly different card from your deck and add a card that is also slightly different from that one to your hand. And Archfiend Eccentric, it's just a perfect bridge for that.
Do you know what type of monster it is?
It is Fiend.
It's a pendulum.
Oh, yes, of course.
Haven't seen those in a while.
Oh, that is true. Have we
missed them?
I just haven't seen them in a while, you know? Like, where is Pendulum these days?
There's always like a few Pendulum decks that set up Necro Valley when it's good.
Oh, yeah, a little bit of Magispector fun there.
Yep,
yeah,
that is true. And also we have just gotten a Magispector Link monster that unfortunately does not have the signature move of the Magispectors.
I know,
that
right?
Can't be targeted.
Yeah, that was really upsetting.
However,
anyway, let's get back to this duel. Yeah, let's get in.
I just love how packed this venue is with people who want to watch the featured match from basically round one. So many people were watching and supporting their favorite players.
Hi. And you know what I love is the way that...
Wait, what? Did Dinh-Kha B decide to start and Maxi just went normal summon Snake Eye Ash?
What kind of procedural error do you think that comes under?
Force of habit, I want to say.
I will willingly choose to go first, no matter what. Okay, so... Post side, Dinh-Kha B's plan against Snake Eye is to go first. That's fair. We're going to go Foolish Burial Goods, sending the Black Goat Laughs under the column of Starfire. Starfire then going to activate its effect to special summon from the deck. Probably get a Casper. Casper in defense in another column here. I wonder if there's like logic behind the column placement of your muskets. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, there is a new... there's a Link 1 being activated, being summoned here into Max. Oh, no, of course not. Why would we do that going first? It is Requiem. Time to get into the Engraver engine. And as we know, Max does not play any hand traps. So we'll see how those go second cards end up playing out here.
Gotta be honest, I think we can peek a little bit into the hand of Max, and this is looking strong.
I saw one card.
Well, he showed us one card.
Yeah, I saw that card, yeah. No, I see more than one.
No, I see everything. I think
it's going to be a little bit scary, I think, for Dinh-Kha's going first here, but we'll see what he can come up with.
So Maxi is just chilling right now. Now we're summoning Max against Maxi. I mean, you said it first. Why would you do it going first? I also don't know. But can you actually do something else other than profiting off of the cards that your opponent has on the field? Because
no, Max doesn't do anything going first. So
amazing.
There'll be a reason for it, of course.
It's a Light Fiend?
It is a Light Fiend. Gonna use it as link fodder here. Okay. That's gonna be sequence most likely. Oh.
Okay.
Yama.
We're spicing things up here on the Dinh-Kha B side.
All right.
Is probably going to be able to search for Shavara. No, it's not going to search Shavara. Have we sighted it out? Did we draw it?
Okay. Fiendsmith Engraver plus the Yama going to be linked away here. Surely sequence, and then we can maybe Yama back and do something with a Soul of Rage, I assume. No, we're going to make Soul of Rage immediately.
At which point do we summon Promethean Princess here? I'm confused.
That's not part of the spreadsheet, I guess.
And Shavara pops the Soul of Rage, and now that is going to trigger Yama. So Yama might summon out the Soul of Rage back, or we are going to get Engraver back. Casper, actually. Sure.
All right. Yeah, so the Soul of Rage adds back a Fiend here, and then the Yama brings back the Casper. All right. That's a play.
I'm fully supportive of Dinh-Kha B's plays. This man always knows what he is doing. With
I don't know what he's doing, but he's in the kitchen.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got finger tapping, so that's always a good sign.
Oh, that means he's really in the zone.
Yep. You think finger tapping is just a way to like keep your mind distracted, or are we actually playing through something?
No way. I think he also drew the Unchained Trap card.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That's why he's put it in the graveyard. Yeah, so no real value out of the Shavara. That's like, what, I suppose like the 2 Garnets of the deck that you would probably best, you'd rather draw, search. So Shavara and the Unchained Abomination, I think it's called, the Reborn.
It's the Chamber.
Yeah, so there's Escape and Chamber. Tracked in the zone of Casper here. So new chain, we get to go Lurie and Casper, get a search and a revive.
Fantastic.
We haven't used this Casper, I believe, right? No, there it is. Go for the search here.
Would have really confused me if we had used the Casper earlier and then rebonded with Yama just to have it there. I don't think that's always the play. Lurie is going to come back. We've also went through Requiem. We search for the Last Stand now again.
Yeah, remember this is the counter trap that can be used going first and second, as we saw in the last duel, from the hand, just because we control magical musket monsters. A magical musket.
It wouldn't surprise me if Dinh-Kha B just came around the corner with a first turn win here, just somehow burning 8k damage out of nowhere. Because this combo looks like it's going nowhere, to be honest. I'm just saying what we're all thinking. We know that it's not gonna happen. We know that it's not gonna be nothing, but it just looks like it's gonna be nothing. Now we have sequence. Are we going to summon out a Desiree is the question.
Yeah, lots of Light Fiends in the grave as fodder for the fusion summon. Is it 3? It does look like it is going to be 3. What do you think about the whole Fiendsmith, the Snake Eye go second strategy?
I mean, like, if he pays out now for Dinh-Kha, like, it would be nice. But in general, I saw, for example, the current Italian national champion Lorenzo Muselli sitting on a 6-0 record and is basically playing Diego's exact same list as we saw him in round 2 future match. And yeah, it's a go second basically deck with you know, no hand traps at all, and seems like the strategy is paying off. And Max, on the other hand, I think privilegized other cards such as Mind Control and the Foolish Burial Goods, which
I think Dinh-Kha has drawn every terrible card that he could ask for, right? Like, I mean, you don't want to draw Dog for sure. You don't want to draw Shavara. You don't want to draw Abomination, Chamber. So this isn't ideal.
Definitely, but he's still going after this, and now we have the Casper back after we have used him earlier.
Yeah, Lacrima can revive the Casper here. There's a Light Fiend synergy there. What rank 6s do we have? It's the... Yeah, I haven't seen this one in a while. It's Wave King Caesar.
I did not see this coming.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, actually. This is, like, super huge. Double Solemn Warning, Last Stand, and an Omni Negate from the Desiree.
That is big. And follow-up through the Casper, you know? Possible.
Potentially, I imagine we're going to search Cross Domination. and then we can use it to use it as another negate. It's essentially like a themed Widow Anchor. We have a real set here as well. Okay, 2.
The thing is, if we activate Last Stance from hand, we can't chain Casper to it because it is a... Or Last Stand, because it is a counter trap.
Well, activates on the new chain. That's how you get your
perfect.
search. Yeah. All right, there is some very scary cards in the hand of Max, though. You can see there's a Change of Heart, there's a Droplet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's really strong... Ooh, Change of Heart on the Wave King Caesar. So there's a few scary things to consider. Max is... I mean, I think if you're Dinh-Kha B, you're probably anticipating something like Talents or Thrust in this Snake Eye list, if they are aware of each other's lists, that is. Especially when your opponent hasn't activated any disruption. So you could probably anticipate a Droplet here. Ooh, Last Stand.
I think this has to be used there because otherwise the Wave King Caesar also as a body for the opponent is just too big.
Yeah, so choosing to not use the Desiree to stop the Change of Heart, using the Last Stand instead. And I think that's probably most likely to circumvent the activation of a monster for this turn. So there's the Snake Eye Ash here.
Maxi finally gets to normal summon his precious Snake Eye Ash because he was really wanting to do that. But we can't also forget that there is a Black Goat Last in the graveyard of Dinh-Kha B. He sent it with the Foolish Burial Goods to get things started.
The column of Casper is still currently occupied and has not been able to be used yet to search out the cross domination. And it looks like we are not going to stop the Snake Eye Ash with any disruption, going to let it resolve. Wave King Caesar kind of deals with most of the powerful Snake Eye abilities to summon monsters.
Yep.
So yeah, we could just negate the Poplar in the hand if we so choose. Or there's a world where maybe you wait for the search for something like Original Sinful Spoils. But denying the bodies, I think, is also really important, just because Closed Heaven is going to be
I agree.
an option as well.
I think Poplar effect is one of the most powerful things that the Snake Eye deck can do.
I'm wondering why we chain the Wanted. Not sure if it really matters
we
here.
Want to discard the Poplar with a Droplet, I suppose.
Ah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Is that 3?
Oh, what?
All of them.
Yeah.
So it goes all in. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you just need your Snake Eye Ash to resolve and then the Poplar to come down. So send 3 cards. We're sending a monster. Chain Abomination. We can chain Desiree here. Right?
Yes.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
That is crazy.
So you cannot respond with the cards discarded for Droplet. That's monster and spell. But you can respond with Trap, and then Desiree doesn't have to directly respond. We chain the Desiree to negate the Droplet.
Which is insane, yeah.
Unbelievable play there. Really well caught there by Dinh-Kha B.
Very strong.
Yeah, and that's why we wanted to hold that Desiree for as long as possible.
Not discarding a single trap card now is really tough on Maximilian. I mean, he can use the Poplar effect, put the Snake Eyes Diabolster into the Spawn Trap Zone, and has the...
Casper still here as well to resolve on the new chain. We are going to get Desperado. We can... I think that destroys any card, right? So when we send with the Witch, we can link off with the Witch with the Soul of Rage, and then destroy the Sinful Spoils.
We can also, I think we can even banish the Sinful Spoils with an SP Little Knight if you want to go for...
Yeah, you can go SP Little Knight as well. Yeah, lots of different ways to do it. And we're also just going to chain the Black Goat Laughs here.
Yeah. Oh, this looks like it's really impossible for Maximilian to get out of this situation. Of course, he's still taking his time to think whether there is still an option for him to get back into this. Snake Eyes Diabolster activates Poplar, and we are going to get rid of the Snake Eyes Diabolster immediately, summoning out the SP Little Knight, banishes the Snake Eye Ash. What is there to be played? All right, Poplar is being sent away for the Black Witch, but that would mean that, yeah, we are packing up the cards.
Pack it up.
Maximilian is laughing it off. That was absolutely a phenomenal first turn after Dinh-Kha B drew all of these very bad brick cards as well. And that makes me question, why are you even going blind second if this is your first turn with a bad hand?
I mean, that was very impressive for a first turn, right? Like, we had so many ways to disrupt our opponent, but it has to be said, the clutch moment for me is the Desiree negating the Droplet discard 3.
What a play from him. But honestly, like, we have seen him on the spotlight a lot of times, and not only is a great deck builder, but like an incredible player, because, like, you know, with this catch-ups, like, he was able to win game 2 with sort of a bricky hand, let's say, because it was not like super special. But that makes me wonder, if you go first with a hand like this and you make this field,
might just be worth going first,
exactly,
right?
Yeah. But then again, here I just think Max now goes first or goes second?
I think he goes first, because the Snake Eye deck, especially in his build with the Foolish Burial Goods, has these options to just put out something phenomenal. I think he's also running the Angel of Blue Tears, which can be a real powerhouse against Dinh-Kha B. However, I don't know how much a Dimensional Barrier or a different Dimension Ground would affect the deck, actually.
Yeah, so the Angel of Tears is a target for Dimensional Barrier. And DDG, as you mentioned. D-Barrier going to be completely useless in this matchup. DDG, I'm just wondering how good the graveyard is for Magical Musket.
Does it hurt you more?
I think it's... yeah.
I mean, ideally, once you've got your Princess in the grave, you've resolved everything. The only thing you don't want to go on your grave on your turn would be your Flamberge. So maybe it's worth it. There is a decent amount of grave interaction on Dinh-Kha's side here, so... yeah, it's a bit of a mind game here as well, because I actually don't know what you would choose in this scenario. So Dinh-Kha B is going to side according to what they've done in testing, maybe. Do the opposite, who knows? Maybe stick to the plan.
That is also something that gives you a headache if you think about it too much. If you're like 3 ways deep and you're thinking, oh, so he let me start the last time, so I'm going to assume that he's going to start this time, but if he assumes that I assume that he assumes, and then you're in this infinite loop of assuming stuff, and in the end they're just going to choose the thing you didn't
and then you get a slow play warning for thinking so long.
Exactly. A slow think warning in this case.
Slow think. Yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely an aspect of Yu-Gi-Oh! That is very much underrated. It's the side deck. How do you side deck? Do you sacrifice a little bit of engine? Are you taking the right cards in and out, depending on if you're going first or second? Then, of course, you have to decide, am I even going to go first or second in a situation like this? It's a big, important choice for Max to make here. Yeah, Dinh-Kha B, I think, has proven to us just how powerful this deck is going first.
Yeah.
Will we see that again as our players are shuffling up right now?
Funnily enough, because he built this deck to go second specifically, he won the dice roll. He chose that his opponent goes first with his going second deck, and both of these duelists won the games where they went first with their going second deck.
Maybe they just re-roll a dice or something, I don't know.
But also Max was surprised when Dinh-Kha went first, right? I mean, maybe in playtesting, maybe was not used to that, right? So it's maybe possible. Yeah.
He also had like Change of Heart in his deck after siding, so I don't think that is... I mean, maybe is that the card that you don't want to side out? Because he had plenty of cards that are good going second in his side deck. Maybe that's not the one that you necessarily want to side out, because you're thinking, hey, I might get a turn back. Change of Heart is pretty powerful if you're trying to swing back at your opponent if they have built up a big field. But now both of these duelists are ready. Let's go into the decisive game number 3.
All right, it all comes down to this last and final duel between these two duelists. Still in a very confident position of a 6-0 record, but of course you would like to minimize any sort of losses whatsoever to guarantee and give yourself the best possible chance of earning the points to be able to qualify into the coveted top 64 spot to go.
Oh, look at that.
And Dinh-Kha is definitely going to go for second. So Max has chose specifically to start this one. And I think that after that very convincing game 1, I don't know if I would disagree with this.
Yeah. I think specifically with his side deck, with the Angel of Blue Tears and the different dimension ground, it is worth giving going first a shot again. Also, you still have the chance of a mind game that your opponent decides to go first again.
Well, many questions to be asked, and Max is definitely going to have to play. I think he should probably go all in on this combo. Right? I think you should absolutely, you know, go hard. And on the full field that Snake Eye can do with a singular Ash, which should be an Apollousa, a Desiree, the Flambert, the Princess in the graveyard, the Masquerena into SP. So lots of ways to put up multiple disruptions, multi-layered disruptions as well is the most important thing. Is that we have ways to disrupt from the graveyard, from the field, from the spell and trap zone.
And now we know that even if this combo can happen uninterrupted, we know that it takes a little bit of time to play out the full Fiendsmith Snake Eye combo. And we have 11 minutes left on the clock, so you're going to want to deal 1,200 damage with Lacrima. And yeah, it's going to be tough for Dinh-Kha B to deal some damage through that.
Yeah, Lacrima is definitely a huge, important part of the Snake Eye deck. It is long turns, big back and forth, and there's, you know, just physically sometimes not enough time to play out a full game 3. So Lacrima being a huge part of the gameplay loop.
And Max playing at full speed, especially because like he knows that Dinh-Kha is not sitting on any hand traps, and
yeah, I mean, it's the perfect way to Ash wanted. This should absolutely be everything you need here, going for the early Appaloosa and protecting and insulating from any potential surprises like a Nibiru. And we still have a long way to go here as we fire through into the original Sinful Spoils. Going to go for Oak here.
Even though you know for 99% sure that your opponent isn't running Nibiru, you want to minimize the risk that you're playing into, you know? It just makes sense. People change their lists 5 minutes before the tournament. Yeah.
You ever changed your cards in the line of the queue?
Yes, definitely. It was never a good choice, by the way.
Yeah, weird. Sometimes it's crazy that the most prepared players do the best.
Yeah, I also don't get it.
All right, here comes Engraver being summoned out from the grave. Looks like we're going to go for another Link summon here into a Sequence or a Mask. Yeah, going to go Sequence first. Fusion summon for Lacrima. Make a Princess. Get that bonus burn damage to guarantee that we're a lot ahead on life just because of the timer now hitting single digits.
Something's always odd about these archetype Link 2 monsters that point down to both the sides being summoned in the main monster zone.
Yeah, it's very jarring, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just not really a fan, are you? There's a rank 6 being made here. It's Beatrice, of course, and using her effect. Do we have the blue tier?
Yep, and we skipped it immediately.
Oh, there is a DTG in his deck, as you can see. So that is... Oh, he actually brought in both trap cards. That's really interesting.
What are you trying to hit with the Dimensional Barrier? I mean, Alberto, if you're taking a look at the extra deck of Dinh-Kha B. Oh, I mean, Fusion for the Fiendsmith engine, of course.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, that is a good point. The Fiendsmith engine is still a part of the strategy. Is it that important? We'll see. I mean, does have to make a choice between which one he gets here as we resolve Flamberge. Off of the Masquerena summon here, we get 2 bodies back, and now we are gonna... Wait, did we go through Princess?
Nope, that's what we're going to do now, I suppose. Oh, there's also a Typhon in the extra deck of Maximilian. I like to see that. I mean, of course, if you're playing a going second variant, this card just definitely makes sense. Now we still know Flamberge put the IP Masquerena into the spawn trap zone, and now we just have to figure out a way how to get rid of the Promethean Princess. And I think that a Phoenix that is co-linked with the Appaloosa would just make sense, right?
Yeah, usually you actually negate it with your Desiree, but co-linking Phoenix to protect from battle is also very normal as well. Get the battle protection from the Appaloosa should anything try and attack over it. Oh, we missed the Desiree. Interesting.
I was going to say, what's going on with that Snake Eye Ash there as well? This one is just sitting there chilling. Wow, we drew into Foolish Burial Goods. That's just an extra layer of interruption. I mean, getting the Black Goat Laughs into the graveyard.
That's the thing. Like, we saw just how good the Black Goat Laughs was in game number 1. So that's a huge part of the combo here. I just noticed Max is not playing Desiree. Yeah, he just doesn't play Desiree.
Well, multiple players have decided to cut it. I think the...
I guess if you're going second, it makes sense.
And it's maybe fair. A little bit win more as well. Like, if you're going for your full combo, then you're probably going to win anyways. By the way, I thought about why would you leave that Snake Eye Ash there, but if you're playing different Dimension God, it just absolutely makes sense, because then you have a valid target to link summon with IP together.
Ooh, we do have a hand trap.
Interesting here. Ash Blossom being activated on a Foolish Burial Goods.
Couldn't we have changed a different Dimension God to that, or is that just monsters?
Yeah, monsters.
Ah, okay. For me, it's just
not that good. Alright, yeah, Ash Blossom being thrown down here does actually play a hand trap. Oh, talents. A talents take here is absolutely huge. And I think, well, if Max just stuck to his guns and played full hand trapless Snake Eye, we wouldn't be in this situation, because talents is live, and it's a really, really scary take here.
Yup. Appaloosa is going to be maybe taken away. I mean, this is one of the most powerful takes that you can do in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Just taking away all of these negations from your opponent and gaining them for yourself.
That's the most important thing, is you aren't just taking 2 negates away from your opponent, you're giving yourself negates and protection for their field. So you're going +4.
Yeah, all of a sudden your opponent will have to play through your field, you know?
Yeah. Looks like we're going to activate Black Goat Laughs maybe on resolution. Nope. Okay. Here's an engraver from hand.
Engraver is now allowed to search here.
I will say that I'm getting a little bit nervous looking at this clock here. Both players on full life. Are we on full life? We must have used a little Krima at some point, right?
Maybe he didn't.
Maybe did he forget this?
There's no shot you just like forget to use the Krima, right? We'll double check with the judges and make sure that the overlay is correct for you. But yeah, I mean, I feel like there should have been a 1200 burn here.
I mean, there is a sequence in the graveyard.
Yeah.
So I don't think that he put it away for La Krima burn.
Okay. Well, under 5 minutes remaining as we prosperity for 6 cards here. Notice as well that we didn't perform a normal summon to put the prosperity under the musket. So maybe we're trying to dig for some engine pieces here.
And even if the damage is half, that's fine, because any damage right now
is
damage.
Yeah.
And there's Fiendsmith Sanct and triple tracking. Thrust is going to be so huge here. But actually, which card are you going to try and get out of your deck here if you're going to play the Thrust? I mean, we're taking Thrust because you can access any single normal spell card here. But what are we going to try and get out of this deck here? Also,
did we see what he picked? It was a Thrust.
Yeah.
Okay. The Sanct is not going to be usable. You need to control no face-up monsters or only light fiends, but we've got the Appaloosa now, so that's not going to be relevant. And Thrust is now going to search for any normal spell and trap. Going to get Desperado.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh wow, this is, of course you can also activate that trap card. That makes Thrust so much better that you can actually just take the trap cards to the hand and normal summon out your muskets and then play with those cards. That's insane.
I don't think muskets have any kind of burn damage, right?
I don't think they have, to be honest, right?
Okay. Here comes the Black Goat Laughs.
It had to happen at some point. I was thinking about it the entire time. It had to happen. Now the SP Little Knight.
Where did that come from?
It's the goat that laughed. The SP Little Knight banishes the Appaloosa, and in Chain Link 2 there is Flamberge.
Yeah, no, the protecting the chain link there from the SP Little Knight. Did we not negate Masquerena? I guess we must have used the Black Goat on Appaloosa, right? Yeah. Okay.
And now Sanct would be usable again.
Yep, now we can actually use Sanct, true. 2 minutes, 40 seconds on the clock here. Any damage whatsoever is going to be a huge, powerful position for Dinh-Kha B here. We just need a 1700 attack monster, really, to try and attack over this Little Knight.
Dinh-Kha B really does not look happy in this situation. He's at 4 cards in hand, and Maximilian has summoned basically every monster he has in attack position, which is also a very interesting choice in this situation. Now the Starfire is being normal summoned. Max is going to activate, but is Max going to resolve is the question.
Yeah, this is a very important clutch point here. We could search 5 musket spell and traps, or we can summon 1 from the deck here. Let's see what he goes for. All right, just summoning 1 Casper, it looks like. Less than 2 minutes remaining here. We do have a Desperado in the hand. Oh, no, of course, there's a field spell, so we get 2 monsters. Does that count? It must count, right? I suppose.
I mean, yeah, we're summoning the Starfire, so
yeah,
seemingly.
Yeah, so 2 monsters special summoned from the deck here with the effect of Max. And yeah, we just need to like go into something bigger than 1600.
Remember when you asked if the deck has any ways to deal burn damage?
Yeah.
It's also running the Fiendsmith engine.
Okay, all right, there it is. That, of course.
It just came to me that this is a pretty convenient way, and now the SP Little Knight activates here.
Yeah, okay, SP Little Knight taking the Casper away here. Are we going to chain Desperado? We do not chain Desperado. So banishing them until the end phase here. I don't think we're going to reach that point as there is less than 60 seconds on the clock. Does Dinh-Kha play Typhon?
Let me check. Yeah.
He does play Typhon. All right. So at any point here, he could just summon Typhon, attack, and then pass. Which is viable. But we need to pay very close attention to the timer here as we get dangerously, dangerously low. So either we commit to the battle phase and go for this Typhon strategy. Problem is that you cannot basically do anything after you've summoned Typhon. So it means we're going to have to, yeah, it looks like Dinh-Kha does appear to be committing to the Lacrima as the win condition here.
Next question is, what is the set card there? Is this a wanted or is this an actual threat? Is it the different dimensional or dimensional barrier? So many options, because dimensional barrier would be a convenient way to get rid of the Lacrima burn damage problem.
Yeah, it doesn't look like... Well, we actually know that it's not the barrier, right? Because we didn't use the... Did we not even use the blue tier?
Yeah, I saw it in the graveyard. I also thought that this was odd. Usually Maximilian is not the type of player to forget stuff. Lacrima is being summoned.
All right. All right, that is time on the round, by the way. So someone need...
There's the handshake.
Oh, okay. I guess we're not able to do Lacrima burn?
Or has Maximilian just forfeited because he saw the Lacrima? That is a question that I think I can't answer it right now, but I mean, that just so logically speaking, this should have been Dinh-Kha B's game, and now we have confirmed it. Dinh-Kha B was able to win this because Maximilian forfeited.
Even if you use the Princess pop here, the Lacrima still brings back Engraver. You still have two bodies. You just do a Link Summon, and then that's it. So, yeah. Max not using his own burn damage in the turn one, I suppose, is what this comes down to.
That's the thing that confused us all, because Max didn't use it. And then we were like, okay, but does Dinh-Kha B know that he can do burn damage as well?
Yeah. Because otherwise it would have been a draw.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, I guess, right? Yeah.
Well, unsurprisingly, I suppose, for some people, Dinh-Kha B has managed to cause another incident, taking down the Tier 0 deck, the best deck of the room. Snake Eyes is, wow, I mean, the deck to beat, and he's built it to beat Snake Eye. There it is. Surprising us one again. Yeah, unbelievable.
I still don't really know how the deck goes through a full Snake Eye field. I mean, of course, talents take Apollousa. And this is what I was saying earlier. Apollousa is kind of a dangerous game to play when people are running talents, people are side decking cards like Mind Control and Change of Heart. We've seen multiple Change of Hearts main deck already, because this is not only like a card that plays a little bit through your field or takes out centerpieces from your field. This basically stops you from everything. It just takes out your entire field. You have multiple monster negations, and Apollousa just says, sorry, I'm on this side now.
How convinced are you that this is a strategy, that this is viable? Because we saw game one, Dinh-Kha B went second, willingly going second. Couldn't really crack the field, and it was a very basic field, right? So, I don't know. Is there still promise here? Do we still believe in the muskets?
I mean, like, maybe we could ask him how many Fiendsmith Snake Eyes he has played until now.
He's 7-0.
He's now 7-0. Like, it's showing us that the deck works, and but it may also be a plan that basically you go into game 3 and there may be a potential Lacrima, no?
Yep.
To win the duel, because like these duels take so much time. Honestly, they are so back and forth ones that.
I think the important thing to take away from this is that regardless of the fact that there is a really dominant strategy that everyone is prepared for, everyone is looking at, if you are very much into a specific strategy, if there's something that's a little bit, off the cuff, we've seen it today already, be victorious. We've seen Mem and Totland take down...
that was so cool.
Yeah, we've seen, of course, Tenpai is in a very good suited position going second as a strategy as well. Ritual Beasts are out there as well, doing well. So there is still room, and there's still abilities and ways for players to innovate and come up with new, unique strategies.
Yeah, no, but I totally agree. Like, in general, we have, like, I was taking a look at the top tables before, and there are a lot of different decks, and I mean a lot. There was also Despia, for example, just to give you a name. And
crazy.
I mean, no, but like in general, like I'm very impressed by Dinh-Kha B because like it seems as every single year he has the deck to beat the best deck in the room.
Yeah.
Let's see if also this time it will prove us that this is the case, because like last year I remember with the Labyrinth deck he surprised us all with the Stuvir, like the interaction, like from a rock deck it became like a combo deck pretty much. And I mean it's insane, like 7-0, like two more rounds to go, and I mean he's almost there, like the top 64, like you can see the top 64 at the horizon. And I mean, like, if I would be the other players in the room, it would be scary to play this guy.
I mean, you must also have a special relation to Dinh-Kha B after his second place at the 200th YCS in Utrecht, where he just played Burning Abyss and got this deck out of nowhere, basically. Which with
Never heard of that deck, honestly. That's crazy.
Is there a specific card you could like from that deck? A Farfa, probably? No, but... the thing is, Dinh-Kha B has proven so many times that he's truly one of the best. I think the only time we've seen him play a real meta deck... Okay, can you get it? Which one was it?
Runic Furhard, best deck.
Oh, you mean like he played like a standard deck?
Yeah.
Standard deck.
Which one? When?
YCS Utrecht Finals versus Joshua Schmidt. He also played Runic, Sprite, and the twins.
Okay, all right.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Twin Runic Sprite. That was the name of the deck, and everyone was running that basically. And even then, in that format, Dinh-Kha said, "Oh, okay, this is the best deck of the format, and there is no deck that beats the best deck. This is just it. This is what I'm doing."
I think that's the biggest takeaway, again, as mentioned. Despite the fact that there is a powerhouse deck in the metagame, if you really like a deck, if it's something that you just genuinely enjoy, there are ways to adapt. There are tech cards. There are all types of different strategies and combos that you can come up with. I mean, we've seen here, it's not just muskets that are involved. There's the Fiendsmiths. Yeah. There's the Unchained cards as well that definitely put up a huge amount of disruptions. That game number 2, for example, was absolutely incredible by Dinh-Kha B. Still losing game 1 and getting the reverse sweep. Credit where credit is due to hold your nerve like that and still come out on top, despite the fact that in a standard somewhat duel of situation, that's something you would maybe be a little bit afraid of, but you know, still coming out on top. I think our players are just about ready for our interview now.
I think that we actually need a little more seconds, but okay, no, we are ready. I have just got it confirmed by Ed, so Ed, take it away with Dinh-Kha B.
Thank you very much, Leo. Yes, I am joined by Dinh-Kha B, the winner of our Round 7 feature match, who's now 7-0 in the European World Championship qualifier here in Berlin. Dinh-Kha B, you're no stranger to topping these. We've seen you at Worlds. We've seen you win many tournaments. In a format like this, and you're playing a deck like Magical Musketeer, how are you finding it?
I mean, I always try to find something else which is not the best deck. So it's not. I was pretty sure I was not playing Snake Eyes for sure.
Sure.
So I tried to find something else which has a niche, and a friend of mine told me to play it. I tried it out. I liked it, so I stick with it, and now I'm here with the deck.
What is it that you like about it so much?
The engine itself plays really, really well going second. It can go first as well, because of the addition of the Fiendsmith cards and also the Unchained cards. And the playstyle with the columns is something I really like.
So, looking at this game, you were up against the Fiendsmith Snake Eye deck, which, as everyone knows, is incredibly popular. 24% of the 2,300 players were playing it. I don't even know the maths of that, but it's well over 600 players, I think. Someone else can do the maths for me. But that's a lot. How many of the 7 matches you've played, obviously we've seen 1, how many of them were against Fiendsmith Snake Eye?
Just 2.
And I'm guessing did you breeze through those? Did you struggle a little bit?
No, it was the last match was really close. I mean, my opponent did a little mistake, but I don't think it mattered at all, because I would have been able to do more damage than 1-2 in the end.
Is there a strategy that you'd advise for people going up against this kind of deck? Because it is everywhere. You've probably got your own spice, and I won't ask you to reveal that, but how would you tell people to prepare for this kind of deck in this format?
I don't know. I think you need to play a lot to understand how the decks work. and I don't think I can tell you anything more specific, to be honest.
You guys have to work at it. Did you do a lot of play testing of this deck against Snake Eye?
To be honest, not a lot. I did a lot of Fury. But there was not a lot of time to playtest, actually.
There's a reason you're one of the best in Dinh-Kha B, and I sincerely wish you the best of luck for the remainder of your Swiss rounds. I'm almost positive we'll see you topping at this rate. I look forward to seeing how you perform through the rest of it. I'm going to let you go over to Basti because you guys are going to go over and do some analysis. So you can put your mic down and you can go join him over there. But, you know, this is what this is all about. You can head on over, it's okay. This is what this is all about. We're now going to have more and more of these players who you see in these feature matches talking to you with one of the commentators about each of these plays, because as you guys have said to us, it's important to get that personal touch and know exactly what that duelist is thinking, which is why I'm now going to ask slightly fewer technical questions and leave that to people like Basti. Basti, take it away.
Here we are, joined by, of course, the man of the hour, Dinh-Kha B, our winner of the last feature match. And we're now, of course, going to go a little bit more into the detailed analysis of that match. So you played against one of your friends, of course, against the Fiendsmith Snake Eye deck, which is a very popular deck. And I would say let's just go into the first highlight, and we can then talk about it, all right? So let's get it up here on screen. First of all, pretty interesting technology in the Fiendsmith Snake Eye deck. Foolish Burial Goods now being included. Do you have a specific reason why this is being played at the moment? I know it's not your deck, but you're probably very aware of what's going on.
I mean, Maxi is in my testing circle.
Yeah.
And Goods is pretty versatile, because it can help you to break boards going second, because you can send going second the Black God Loves.
Yeah. But is there any engine you could send with it as well, or is it just for Black God Loves?
Yes. If you get hand trapped on Sager's Ash, for example, you can just send original Symbol Spoils.
Ooh, okay.
So you can link off the Ash into Anima and then use original to get Poplar, some Poplar to
That's pretty fair, yeah. I like it, I like it.
Because it's, in that way, an extender, an interruption, and a board breaker, all in one. With just one card.
Even though he's running the Magical Musketeer deck, he also knows what's going on the opponent's side of the field. Next highlight we have going is something more regarding your deck again. So that is now your turn in the first game, and we're going to see you activating a very powerful droplet. Oh wait, no, first of all it's going to be Maximilian activating his droplet. And do you think he played around something specifically here by sending a spell card with that droplet? Because we are going to see it here.
Yep.
Go ahead, tell me about it.
He tried to play around my own droplets, which was correct, I think.
Yeah.
But luckily for me, I had the one-off counter trap, which was chainable to droplet. And
there we go. There's the last dance.
That was pretty nice for me.
Yeah. But you think that was actually a correct move by him by chaining the droplet there and just using that instead of the Appaloosa?
Appaloosa loses to a lot of things. For example, my own droplet, and I also have like the musket spread traps which out Appaloosa.
Yeah, and so therefore you were able to actually resolve your max now, which is of course quite a huge deal and kind of what you want to do with your match in general, with your game plan in general.
But there was one problem, because the counter trap destroys the negated card.
Ooh,
so we only had 2 spare traps on resolution, so I was not able to summon 3 bodies out of max.
Yeah.
And that was kind of huge, to be honest, but I needed to do that.
Yeah, I see. I mean, yeah, of course, you need to get that effect through somehow at all, and therefore I do understand that you needed to negate it. Then, in the end, though, we were moving forward, and then you activated your own copy of the Forbidden Droplet. Let's go ahead and go into that scene, analyzing that a little bit further. That is now the moment you are going to use that, and you actually negated the Appaloosa of your opponent, but they were able to respond to that with the Black God Loves, right? As far as I remember.
That was huge for my opponent. The problem is I did not have any proactive spell except for droplet in my hand. My hand was 2 droplets, 2 talents. He didn't use any monster effect, so I was not able to activate talents for free.
I see.
So I needed to do that to negate the Appaloosa. But in the end, that Black God Loves got me on Casper.
Honestly, that card is way more popular than I actually expected it for this tournament. You're running it, your opponent was running it, and a lot of the people at the top tables are actually relying on it as well. So then, I think the last hope was one of the talents when you activated that after. What did you draw into with that in the end?
1 Shavara and Called by the Grave.
All right, that was not really what you were hoping for.
To beat his board, to play through his princes and his follow-up.
I see.
That was game over, basically.
Yeah, and I think one thing we didn't even talk about before game 1. You won the roll, but you let him start. Is that because you want to go second, or is that because you know he would be like to go second himself, or do you just want to not tell us about it? Which is also fair, because it's your strategy.
I can. I would hide it, to be honest.
For sure, that's absolutely fair. You have a lot of games still to be played, so that is absolutely legit. So let's jump into game number 2. And the first highlight is something we already talked about a little bit, but let's see it here. You are also using yourself the Foolish Burial Goods to send here. In that case, also the Black Gold Lobs. Is there anything else you like to send with it, or is it just always going to be that?
It's usually always. It's most of the time the Black Gold Lobs, but I'm also able to send tractors, which is an extender to the graveyard.
Fair.
Or if I need to, I can also send a link into the range to the graveyard to get an additional add back. If I need to get my trigger on my musket monsters.
True, because that card has a graveyard effect as well, right? To add back. That's pretty smart, actually, true. Then with the next highlight, we're going to go in and see that you actually had kind of an unfortunate hand game too, right? Because you're about to summon that Yama here, and usually you would like to search out Shavara with that, but you didn't do that because it was in your hand already, correct?
Yep. That was correct. I opened Shavara and the trap, the chamber.
The chamber
was super
as well.
unfortunate. I was like, if his hand is really good, I just lose the game.
Absolutely, but still, with the next highlight, we're going to see what you ended up creating as a field there in game number 2, going first with your deck there. Desiree, Caesar, also, of course, the chamber in the graveyard. Was that like your best end field, or is there potentially even more coming?
This is like pretty good. I mean, I invested a lot of cards. I didn't get 2 cards for free, like the Shavara and the Chamber on the way.
True.
But basically, this is the best endboard you can have.
Absolutely.
Engine-wise,
Yeah, and I mean, one of the most powerful cards to overcome that technically could be Forbidden Droplet, but as we see in that highlight with the next clip, you had a pretty good way to play around that Forbidden Droplet as well, because Maximilian just had to commit all of his cards into Forbidden Droplet. We see there is the Poplar. You want to negate that with the Caesar, and then your opponent pretty quickly, I think when he activated that, it was already certain that he's going to chain the Forbidden Droplet as well.
It was obvious,
and then he just, I think, dumped the entire hand as well alongside it. And when he did that, you probably knew that that was your game to win, right?
Except he's sending 1 trap, but that was unlikely.
That could only be that Black Gold loss, right?
Black Gold would have been insane. Yeah.
Is he leaving that in going second specifically for that purpose, maybe?
I think so. I think he keeps in the goods and also the Black Gold, especially if he doesn't know if I want to go first or second game 2. Yeah. Because goods is good in either way.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. Then game number 3. Actually, your opponent chose to go first there, and we were a little bit surprised, or I was a bit surprised, because he didn't get to Lacrima on that turn, right? So he didn't get to use the effect to use and do some damage on you. Do you have any explanation for that?
There was a little misstep. He thought he would. He declared the effect, but he did not, and then the judge told him he didn't do that. So yeah.
All right. So we're going to see what it besides that ended up. That is his end field, and you then immediately activated the Foolish Burial Goods, which we were so afraid of. So you used Ash Blossom and Joy Spring on it, and you had the triple tactic talents to immediately answer that. Did you consider taking any of the other monsters, or is it always going to be Appaloosa?
No, to be honest, I considered to take the Flame Bitch.
Yeah.
To attack over Appaloosa first.
Fair.
Because it's just 1 for damage for free.
True.
But I was afraid of droplets. If I attack with Flame Bitch into Appaloosa, he droplets, I'd lose on the spot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's why I took the Appaloosa. And not the Flame Bitch.
Yeah, and I mean, you have kind of a safe plan still with the Lacrima to somehow get to that damage to then win, because as we can see, time is running lower and lower up and that from that point on. So you were getting to that position where Lacrima became more and more important, of course, to you as well. Next highlight then, we see how finally that Black Gold Lobs is being used, as he was using it on his own original Appaloosa to negate that. Do you think that was a smart play by him? Because he like just invested all of his interruptions into his own card, kind of, right?
He needed to. Because otherwise, I just summon a musket monster and pop the IP, and then it's game over.
Oh, that's true. So that was definitely very, very smart. And then I think the key point where you were kind of winning then from there on is the last highlight we have from that match, where you were able to summon out V Max, your most powerful Link 1 monster, and they had no response to it, and therefore you could just resolve that, getting enough monsters onto the field to then keep on Link summoning, right?
Yeah, that Max was pretty safe, because even if he has droplets or Imprim set, I can just chain my Desperado to pop my own monster to get 2 more bites on field to get to Lacrima in the end.
All right. So, to be fair, that was very, very, very creative, very unexpected. You, as always, as per user, showing up with a pretty crazy deck. And how do you feel? Are you just going to qualify for Worlds again as you did last year?
I hope so. I will try my best. Let's see.
All right, congratulations. Thank you for watching our analysis here. I hope you guys like that piece of content. I'm going to throw you back over to Ed, who has some more to offer for us.